So this is kind of a unique side-by-side. So what this is a 2018 Arctic Cat, or sometimes they're labeled as Textron, Havoc. So these were kind of unique. So like 2017 Arctic Cat was basically in trouble like they are right now, and they were bought out by Textron. And so with that, they kind of rebranded a bunch of stuff. A few new models kind of came and went. So this was one of them. So this was only made from 2017 to maybe 19 was the last year for it. But what these are is they're not actually an Arctic Cat design. So these were originally made by Bad Boy was the company, and they were labeled as a Stampede. So they were the Bad Boy Stampede. So they were an 850cc, which for what they were pretty high horsepower in the Stampede version, around like 80 horsepower or so. But this one's the Havoc. So that this is it's basically the Stampede chassis and everything, but it's higher horsepower. So now this is a 950cc engine. These things make around 100 horsepower. Still basically the same chassis as the Stampede and stuff, but we got much beefier suspension on this thing. So it came from factory with these King shocks on the front and the rear. These big shocks back here. Suspension on this thing was definitely beefy and stuff. So these were meant to be just kind of a high horsepower utility side-by-side, really kind of comparable to like a Polaris General. Compared to the Stampede, we've got bucket seats instead of a bench seat. These kind of have a pretty cool display on them. So these displays are all backlit, really nice gauges and stuff. There's actually a lot of features you can do with these as well. You can run diagnostic mode on it. You can also do things like program the top speed on it. So it's programmable basically from whatever the top speed. I think these things top out at like 70 miles an hour. And you can tune that down to 10 or 15 or whatever you want, which is kind of a unique feature. Came standard with winch and light bar and stuff. This one, somebody added a stereo to it and some turn signals. The motor on these, so like I said, it's a 950cc engine, which actually, it's basically under this little cover back here. Kind of unique how these roll cages have kind of this little storage compartment in the back, which is nice for throwing stuff. Box, about the same size as the Polaris General. This dumps as well. But yeah, the motor on these, it's a 950cc, 100 horsepower engine. Let's see if I can get to it at all. It's tucked back there. So there's our clutch cover on this. These motors were actually made by Weber. So Weber produced these kind of 750cc up to about 1000cc engines. Were used in a variety of things. Polaris used them in some of the 4-stroke snowmobiles. What's really tucked back in there. Actually, I'll throw up a little image here. So yeah, this here's a picture of the engine itself. Looks like on Country Cat you can actually buy a brand new one for only $1,000, which is kind of crazy since they're kind of a discontinued motor and stuff now. But yeah, they're made by Weber. Polaris used them in a bunch of the 4-stroke snowmobiles. They were used in different jet ski applications. Kind of a really unique thing, if anybody's ever heard of the Redline, Revolt, or Riot. Those were kind of a single seat kind of ATV, kind of like the Pilots, or like you know, an RS1 or an Ace or something like that. They were made from like 2007 to I don't know, 2009 or so. Those have the 750cc Weber engine in it. But yeah, these things, they really go. So we'll take it for a drive here in a little bit. But the motor, it is just snappy. The thing likes to rev. I mean, you get on the throttle and it's instantly just showing 8,000 RPM. I think the Redline now it's probably like 9,000 or something. But yeah, when you give it full throttle, it likes just to hang there right at like 8,000 RPM. Well, let's start it up here and hear it run. Yeah, it was definitely kind of a model that never really caught on. I mean, spec-wise, I mean, it's right in line with everything that Polaris and Can-Am were making, but kind of typical Arctic Cat, you know, when it comes down to marketing and some of the little things, the things just never really took off. All right, let's go for a little drive. All right, we're going for a drive here. So one thing on these, hear the tires squeaking. There's no turf mode on them, so the rear end's locked all the time. definitely turn a little harder on cement and stuff. Watch my tach there. So we're running at like 4,800 RPM right now. Give it some throttle on these things. Like I said, this motor just loves to rev. It sounds pretty good too. I mean, it's pretty healthy sounding motor on these things. It's kind of unique. All right, let's do it again here. Said I think top speed this thing would easily do probably 70, 75, wherever it's governed at. That I don't know for sure. One complaint about this machine is the seat position is just kind of awkward. So like these things basically have like razor seats in. They look identical to the old 800, 900 razor seats, but they just sit funny. Like you sit kind of upright like a normal utility or UTV and stuff, but the seat is just kind of awkward. Like it feels like it's pressed into your back funny, like the lumbar support jabbing out into you. That's my big complaint on it, is that they are nowhere near as comfortable as what like the Polaris's or Can-Ams are. I think these things are a little wider than like a General or something too. I believe they're like 65 inches wide. As far as the ride, I feel like they ride kind of stiff, but these shocks I think are pretty adjustable and stuff too. All right, we're gonna do a little standstill here. Ready, set, go. In my opinion, I think it's definitely faster than what a General is. So yeah, this is a 2018 Arctic Cat or Textron Havoc. This one's only got 1,800 miles on it. If anybody needs one, I'm asking 8,000 on it, so kind of cheap for what it is. Like I said, I think it'd be the General in a race. Kind of unique. Alrighty, well, follow along for the next build project or cool thing that I get in.